This is an audio version of our conclusion and summary of the latest changes 2017 affecting REACH and RoHS and how these will impact our businesses. As always, we recommend a pragmatic approach to regulatory requirements, and we recommend that all manufacturers keep a close eye on EU REACH and RoHS requirements. These EU requirements are beginning to morph into a number of non-EU regions, and I believe they will eventually become the global norm for components and environmental control. That said, blog number 3, this one, brings us up to date on RoHS and REACH. We just have to hope that the EU leaves them alone for the rest of December. In this blog we answer two important questions. Do I need to register for REACH? And what impact will EU Commission Directive 2017/2102 have? For completeness, I have also summarised our previous two blogs so you now have everything in one place, obviously subject to change. Some of you have already been subjected to fear tactics from companies wanting to sell services. One of the latest scams we've been told of is, do you need to register under REACH directives? Are you sure about this? Well, it's true that it's very complex, that REACH is very complex and not easy to understand, but there are three simple requirements for registration. If you don't meet these requirements, you do not need to register. First of all, REACH registration only applies to some companies within the EU or the EEA. So if your company is based and manufactures outside of the EU, including Iceland, Liechtenstein and Norway, you do not need to register under REACH. Secondly, only if you manufacture within the EU and EEA and you supply more than 1 tonne, that is 1,000 kilograms, of any of the chemicals listed by REACH per annum or in any 1 year, then you may need to register. Note that the 1 tonne limit applies to chemicals content, not to the chemical weight of the products shipped into the EEA. This means that most of our readers will not need to register. If you think you may come close to the 1 tonne limit, then please watch the official webinar produced by the European Chemicals Agency. European Chemical Agencies, pronounced ECHA. Begin watching about 14 or 15 minutes in to the video. This section will confirm if you need to register. If you need to register, then start at the beginning. If you don't need to register, then you can cut there. If you do watch this all the way through, take a recorder and a large pad of paper. You will make a lot of notes. The video is excellent. It's very thorough in providing all the detail you need to put your systems in place and to register correctly. There's a YouTube reference and a clickable space. The video provides all the detail you need to put your systems in place and to register correctly. If you are exporting in excess of 1 tonne, then you should watch the entire video. Now let's get on to the impact of EU Commission Directive 2017/2102, amending REACH 2. This simply eliminates the requirements applicable to secondary market operations. Secondary market operations. The latest change affects repairs and refurbishment or retrofitting of electrical and electronic equipment already on the market prior to July 2017. In essence, it grandfathers these older products on the market from meeting the more stringent requirements. In terms of hardware, there's very little impact. The change eliminates the administrative burden for manufacturers who have existing products they will no longer place on the market. You might consider this a Christmas gift from the EU, but note that on the market strictly means the products have landed and are within the EU or EEA. It does not mean that they're somewhere in your supply chain. The summaries of the previous blogs follow. They're in less than 200 words, so it's not too painful. There are several good reasons for implementing RoHS and Reach, even if you do not sell into the EU. 1. You don't know if your customer is incorporating your products into their own and shipping them into the EU. It's true that their compliance may not be your responsibility, but you probably would not want to lose their business, particularly as compliance with RoHS and Reach cost almost nothing. 2. One of your customers may be rebadging your products without your knowledge. Once again, it's not your responsibility, but that may be small comfort if they strike you off their approved vendors list. 3. EU environmental problems. The hazardous chemicals in water supplies, for instance, is becoming a global issue. Already, Washington State in the US has implemented laws that ban many of the chemicals already listed in REACH. It's likely that you will have to comply to some degree, so it makes sense to do it all now and get your systems in place so that your transition to full compliance is instantaneous and seamless. 4. Non-compliance may increase your stock holding costs. Check out blog 1 for the full details. Finally, have a happy and blessed Christmas and safe travels to those visiting family and friends.